Hi, it's Claire from My Mature Student Life, and thank you very much for coming back. So today we're going to do a piece on reflection, and it's partly because we're going into Christmas and everybody's going to start thinking about reflection and changing their lives and making that plan all over again. And I think I wanted to give people tools to really embed that into their lives and not just think, oh, it's New Year, let's do it, but to really think, do you know what, let's make a change this year, because that's what we've been talking about through these videos, isn't it? We've been talking about really making positive changes in our lives. So how does that begin? So we're going to talk about that. How do you really know yourself? So for me, this is a skill that I learned as a teenager. I became a Christian as a teenager. I'm not a Christian anymore, but I did learn some really valuable skills that have stayed with me forever, and I will never stop doing them because I see the value in them. And one of them skills is the power in reflection. And like I said, it's about knowing yourself. So how do you do it? Because people really struggle with this. They really struggle with, okay, I know I need to change my life, but where does that begin? And how do I start that? Okay, so people call it different things. People call it prayer. People call it meditation. And first thing to note is, I don't think it's any accident that people that are spiritual or Christian or anything succeed in life. And I don't think that's because of a deity. I think that's literally because they've got a disciplined and structured mind, and it's come out of this reflective ability. Does that make sense? So, how do I reflect? That's the only thing I can tell you, really. So I do it loud, okay, because that's the kind of person I am, and that works for me. I know different people use different things. So for me, I'll either do it with really loud music in the car, really loud music in the gym, really loud music in my front room, either of them things. But the music's really specific, so it has to be something positive. It has to be a piece that reflects what I'm thinking about at that time. So if I'm thinking about making life changes, then it needs to be a piece of music appropriate. Does that make sense? And it's got to be the music that works for you. So that's what works for me. Walking the dog works for some people. Headphones in silence, walk the dog. It's whatever you can do. You know, walking about with a pram with your headphones in while your baby sleeps. I don't know, what else could you do? Golfing. I'm just thinking out loud. What else do some of my friends do? Some of my friends I know used to go off in silence in nature. So they would find like a special place in nature and just go there. And that was their thing. And they didn't need music. I have to say, some people I know used to like be loud in nature, but they needed to find obviously like a quiet place to do that. So from there, once you're in that reflective zone, okay, so it's really important that you feel that you can be yourself. So you've got to be yourself. So you need silence. You need nobody else around you that's going to disturb you and embarrass you. From there, allow your spirit to move, do what it does. Allow it to reflect. So you need something that you're reflecting on. Does that make sense? So it's got to be just a subject. So if it's about what do you want to do with your life, then that's what you need to be thinking about. So allow the spirit to move and speak. So just open your mouth. It's as simple as that. Speak. Say something. Say what you're thankful for. Say what you want to change. Say what you've done wrong. Say anything, but open your mouth. And from there, allow your spirit to do its thing. You are more than humanity. You are more than this physical being. Your spirit will do what it needs to do, and it will guide you on a path. I believe that wholeheartedly. I'm not a Christian, but I believe that we're more than this. Just allow that to happen. So you've done that, and you've seen whatever. In reflection, I will often see visions. I will feel something. I will get an inkling of what I need to do. This happens in dreams as well. So a couple of months ago, I had a dream about an assignment that I got a distinction for later on, because I applied what I saw in my dream into my assignment and it worked. So allow that spirit, really get into that zone. And I think part of achieving is getting to grips with your spirit. So you've got to be open to that. So you've reflected once, you've got an idea of what you want to do. The next thing is do it. You plan it. So you come out of your reflection, you write it down, you plan it, and you put the steps in action. Okay, then you fail. You do something wrong, because we're human and we mess things up. So you fail, you go back into reflection, and you spend time reflecting on that. You use your music, you use whatever tools it is that works for you. Like I said, being loud and using music works for me. It might be total silence for you, it might be classical music, it might be a specific piece of music that always works for you. It might be a film. Some films really, really do it for me, where I can be inspired to go into reflection just because of something that's said. Fail and reflect and move on. This will separate the weak from the strong. If you fail and give up here, you're a failure, and you will be a failure for the rest of your life, because that's what separates people. People that achieve have failed, got up and moved on, and reflected, figure out where they went wrong, and moved on from there. And that's what you've got to do. But you've got to do it in reflection. Don't try and do it by yourself. Do it in reflection. Spend time in your spirit. Your spirit will guide you. Next thing. So I'm achieving. I'm doing really well now. I set my plan in motion. Things are happening. It's really exciting. I've seen kind of my future. I know where I should be going. Reflect. So don't forget where you came from. You've got to spend time in the spirit. So go back to your music. Be thankful. So you're achieving. What's going well? Figure out what's going well for you. Get to know yourself. And then challenge yourself. So what are you going to do differently now? Now you're achieving. Now you've addressed issues. What's the next step? What's the next challenge for you? So again, thinking about, so for me it's impatience. I always kind of, I think, focus on impatience, and I've been reflecting on that recently. So just spend a bit of time in the spirit, thinking about your particular weakness, your particular strengths. How are you going to do it better? What are you going to change? What are you going to do? But speak. So when you're reflecting, speak. Say what you're thankful for. Say what you're going to change. Say what you're going to do, and allow the spirit to move. And I think reflection for me is that big cycle. It's a cycle of firstly doing it. It's learning what works for you. It's speaking, putting that plan into action, and then reflecting again and again and again, and knowing yourself. And I think what we're doing here is something that Napoleon Hill said in his very famous book, Think and Grow Rich. And he said, your mind will conceive things, and your body will achieve everything your mind can conceive. So what you're doing is creating for your mind a reality. And from there, your body will follow, because your body is subject to you. Your body does as it's told. But you've got to discipline your mind. And I think part of where we go wrong in our culture is allowing our bodies to dictate to our minds what our minds are going to do. And that's partly through personal discipline. I believe, nutrition is a big one for me. Get in control of yourself, discipline your mind, and your body will follow. So I hope that helps. I really, really hope that people understand a little bit more about reflection, about prayer, meditation, whatever it is for you, but just really, really feel empowered to actually put this plan into action. I don't want people to go into New Year thinking, yeah, I really want to change, but not really knowing how to do that. I think it's about being aware of the spirit, allowing the spirit to speak, and doing everything we've talked about today. So good luck, and look forward to your posts and your feedback, and thank you very much for listening once again.